Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel. Let's have some fighting words. So in this video, I want to talk about Regis Prograis and his return to the ring. It's been some time. So let's just jump right into it. He fought a few days ago, Tyrone McKenna. And I'm only bringing this up, not necessarily about the fight. This is not a breakdown of what happened or anything like that. It's basically just saying, welcome back to Regis Prograis. But we can use that fight to gauge how he looked and how he's going to look in the future. And he looked pretty good. I mean, he looked really, really sharp. To be honest with you, Tyrone McKenna, I hope I'm saying his first name right. There's nothing to the guy. He just a big, long guy who didn't really use his natural gifts and abilities in his physical frame. As tall as he was and had those long arms, he fought low, fought short. And Regis Prograis kind of just ate him up. Regis Prograis was pretty much, he fought defensively for like one round. And then just decided to work on the things that he'd been working on in the gym. It looked like there was no physical threat or danger towards Regis at any point in this fight. He looked totally comfortable. He looked totally at home. He looked totally unfazed by McKenna whatsoever, to the point where he's throwing triple hooks. Whenever you see somebody throwing triple hooks, standing up straight and just kind of walking people down with their chin up in the air, there's no threat whatsoever, people. None. And, he showed it. But Regis looked good. I mean, his snap and his punches, his reflexes. Granted, he wasn't fighting the toughest opponent in the world. So, even after the fight, McKenna, he admitted, he was like, every punch hurt. So, it wasn't much to gauge by the fight with McKenna. But it was nice to see Regis Prograis back in the ring. And it was also nice to see him fighting so well, fighting so comfortable. He was very, very comfortable in the ring. And you can tell he used his time off well and properly. He used it training. He used it sparring. He used it in the gym. He used it, just working on himself. And you could see it. You could physically just see how he was moving, that he's been working. He's been working out. He's in shape. Like I said, there was no real danger. So, I just had to put that out there. That being said, McKenna out the way. Regis Prograis is back. So the question is, who's next for Regis Prograis? And honestly, he's back on the scene. He's looking sharp. 140, take notice. Now, I've thought about a few people that would be perfect for Regis Prograis. For starters, listen, I'm just throwing it out there. A Tank versus Regis Prograis fight. Come on, people. That's a good fight. That's a very good fight. That is a banger. That is a banger through and through. You're talking about two guys who are not going to back up. You're talking about two guys who, one of them is leaving in a stretcher. Because if one goes down, I don't think either one of them has ever been down. But somebody's going down, and somebody's pride is going to be on the line. You're talking about just infighting. Oh my goodness. This is not going to be a range fight. It's going to be toe-to-toe. You have the slipping of Regis Prograis. He kind of reminds me of James Toney when he slips. Just how he casually just slips to the side. He doesn't fully commit to it. He just gracefully slips to the side and still ducks that punch. Still dodges that punch. And then you have Tank, who's going low, so he can just dig up and uppercut, ribs, body shots, everything. So it would be an amazing fight if we can get Regis Prograis in the ring with Tank Davis. Then I was thinking, I'm like, who else would be great for Regis Prograis? Now, he hasn't been gone for a long time, so, I still think there could possibly be some cobwebs. Unfortunately, with McKenna, there was no way of telling because McKenna was out of the fight in round 2. So there was really no way to tell. And, well, maybe round 3. But there was really no way to tell looking at McKenna. So I was like, let's just say there were some more existing cobwebs because he's been out of the ring. Okay, well, who else could Regis Prograis fight? Then I thought, duh. They've had some back and forth. I mean, it was all, I want to say 2021, late 2020. Regis Prograis and Adrien Broner were going back and forth. And Adrien was like, he's easy work, and Regis was like, really? Come do it. Regis is not big on talking, and he was just like, well, if that's the way you feel, Space and opportunity, my friend. Space and opportunity. And nothing ever really came of that. But Regis is back on the scene, and you have Adrien Broner, who's missing in action again. And, his last time he was griping with his promotion agency, like, hey, get me some fights. And he said it several times. I won't get in trouble if I'm in the gym. But if I don't have something to expect or look forward to, I'm not going to be in the gym. I'm going to be in the street. I'm going to be hanging out with those guys. I'm not going to be hanging out in the gym. So I thought to myself, why don't we actually bring this fight to fruition? Let's make it happen. Listen, Regis Prograis just got back to the gym, back to the ring. Adrien Broner has been gone for a long time, again, for the second time. Actually, it's like third or fourth, but I mean, like, since his last time, he's gone again. There's no activity, no nothing. And, what seemed to be the problem in the past was, when it came to Adrien Broner, it would be, well, that guy's really not on his level, or, he needs to shake off cobwebs. Meaning Adrien Broner's been gone too long. So let's give him not necessarily an easy fight, but not the most difficult fight either. And I look at Regis' program like, well, Regis just came back. He didn't have the hardest fight in the world, so there could still be some cobwebs there that he might need to shake off. And Adrien Broner definitely needs something to do. Like, he needs to get back in the ring. I think he still has at least 3-4 years of good, solid fighting in him if he can stay committed to the gym. And I think this would be a great fight for him. I think this would be the type of fight that would wake Adrien Broner up and make him go run in the morning, because Regis Prograis is not going to play with you. He's not going to pity pat you. He's going to try to hurt you with every punch. And he's not going to run from you. He's not going to be intimidated by your overall persona. He's not going to care about how many people you walk in to the press conference with in terms of your entourage. He's not going to be fazed or care about any of that. So Adrien Broner, that's another possible matchup. And I think it's a lot more easy to get Adrien Broner in the ring, because Adrien Broner realizes, I need to be active. I need to stay in the ring, or else I could possibly be behind bars again. So that's a very real fight, and I think that could happen. I don't think that's going to be, I don't believe that would be a long, drawn-out process to get the paperwork for that, and then also to get the guys to sign. And lastly, of course, I have to say this. Lastly, Josh Taylor, the rematch, because the first fight, it wasn't like Josh Taylor beat up Regis Prograis. In fact, I don't truly believe he beat Regis Prograis. I would have been happy with a draw. I felt like Regis eked out enough, but I would have been happy with a draw. I wasn't disappointed that he lost, but I wasn't happy with Josh Taylor winning either. But I could have been complacent with a draw. So, and Regis Prograis has said several times, I want my get back. I want to get back in the ring in there with that guy. Because honestly, we're not even talking about a round. We're talking about like an accumulation of punches. So he's like, if I would have thrown, and I remember he said this in a press conference, he said, if I would have thrown maybe like 10 more punches, I probably would have won this fight. So something that close, I feel like that calls for a rematch. And I wish the fans, you and myself would have said more in terms of our disappointment with the outcome, that we could have gotten a rematch like immediately, and I just felt like it was fair. He's a champion and he deserves, listen, either you're going to beat him or you're not, but it shouldn't be a thing of, well, you hit him more times in round 7. It wasn't that you were more dominant in round 7 so that we gave you a 10-8 round. It was just that you hit him more times in round 7. He hits you 17 times and you hit him 24 times. That in itself is not something that should sit well with anybody. And I agree with Regis Prograis, but I feel like that warrants a second fight. I truly believe that. Now, if I could have my order of what would come in the right order, I would definitely say Adrien Broner, because that press conference is going to be epic. And then I would say Josh Taylor. I don't believe Tank fight is a very real fight. I don't believe that anybody with Mayweather Promotions is going to put Tank in there with Regis Prograis. I'm not saying they do not believe in Tank, but that is a very, very risky fight for Tank. Regis is still relatively young in the sport, and he doesn't have a lot of damage from the sport, and he still has that hunger in the sport and for the sport. So, yeah, I think that's a very dangerous fight for Tank. I'm not saying he can't win it. I do believe he hits hard enough to where he could eke out a win. And I also think his athleticism, he could eke out a win. But Regis Prograis is no walk he's just no walk in the park. He takes a punch really well, and he gives them back really, really well. I've never seen him folded. I've never really seen him like in a state where he was about to go off his feet or dazed or a little dizzy or none of that. I've never seen him in that state. So, not to mention Josh Taylor's a big dude. Josh Taylor is easily going to end out his career at like 154. Now, that being said, he couldn't get Regis Prograis to be like in a dazed state. So I don't really know how realistic it is to say that Tank can do it. Yes, Tank hits hard, but I don't know. We would just have to see. But that would definitely be my order. But you tell me, who do you think Regis Prograis should fight next? Do you think it should be Gervonta Tank Davis? Do you think it should be Adrien Broner? Or do you think he should get some get back with Josh Taylor? Drop your comments down below. As always, please like, please share, and please subscribe to my channel.